So we're here on the December Microsolidarity Network call. We're joined today by Marin, who will be presenting for us information about this community project of yours, colivin.com. And after that, we'll probably open up for questions and discussions. I understand Marin can even tell us how to use this platform, maybe put our own community spaces and events on it. So Marin, take it away.
Hey, thank you. Let me share my screen first. Maybe a tab. Can I share this?
And I'm
Just a,
very interested to hear a little bit about how you ended up focusing on this. Maybe something about, yeah, the background about community in your life and where this is emerging from.
yeah, I'll start from that actually. Um, so maybe just because I see some people that I don't know in the chat, just a few words. My name is Marin Petrov. I used to do animation before, and now I do software design and engineering. And I'm really passionate about communities and community living. And right now I live in a small community in the mountains of Bulgaria, just 30 minutes from the capital. So a lot of people right now, I feel in the world, feel lonely. So I call this like a meta crisis in a way, like the loneliness epidemic, if you want to call it that way. And because I enjoy communal life where I am, I kind of don't feel that, but a lot of my friends do, and maybe a lot of people in the world also do. And it's kind of strange that we are more connected than ever through technology, yet, a lot of people, especially in big cities, don't feel connected or feel lonely. So yeah, we are fortunate in that regard that everyone here is probably part of some community and feel supported. At least I heard you sharing that. Um, but a lot of people don't have that. And I kind of want to bring this more to others, not being like this small bubble that we are in. And at the same time, I truly believe that a lot of problems in the world can be solved through communal living and local organizing. Like I've listed some of the problems that we are facing today, and community living is probably a good way to solve some of those, or maybe all of them. So yeah, I started this platform called Coliven. You can actually pronounce it in two ways, either co and then liven. So Coliven or co-living. We kind of made it ambiguous in that way. And I don't care how you call it. You can find it on coliven.com. And probably the mission that I'm after with this platform is empowering hosts to create spaces of belonging and connection, basically. And you know what? I prepared a bunch of slides here just to show you how the platform looks like, but I'm actually kind of feeling lucky today because a lot of people said, oh, you shouldn't present the product live, maybe it will crash or whatever. It's my son's 11th birthday today, so I just came from a party, and he also helped me with a little bit with coding on the platform. So if something breaks, it's his kind of beginner skills in coding. But yeah, I'm feeling lucky, so I'll just probably share my screen and show you the platform there. Are we feeling lucky? Okay, so on the top you have like basically very easy navigation. You either can browse communities and spaces, and you kind of see most of the information there, nice pictures and so on. If you wanna check for communities around you. Like, for example, if you live in the United States, you can just type that and see all the communities there. You can also check them on the map. And yeah, it's funny, we don't have anything in the center right now. Here is Alchemist, for example. So it's a way to find communities for people that maybe don't know about them, or maybe just want to explore more about what type of communities are there. You can also kind of browse different types of communities. We landed on these four major types, like intentional communities, which are basically physical spaces somewhere in the world. You can check event brands or virtual groups, but let me just remove these ones. So what we mean by event brands is, if you're familiar with summer type camps like Vibe Camp, 3 Week, and so on. You can also have a virtual group, like maybe you are hosting weekly online meeting, like my friend Antonio, who is doing these meditation and yoga sessions, or neighborhoods, which are a whole basically villages or small cities, like this cute one in south of Spain. So yeah, basically it's a way to find those, and then you can go to, I don't know, let's say Casatilo is a good example, and the first thing you see there is probably the nice photos. I think photos speak more than words. That's why we kind of put it on the center here. Then you can see a little bit of information about, where it is and the name and when it is founded and so on. And the main thing is the events that are being organized at that community. So you can browse which events are upcoming. We can also check like what's in the past and so on. Yeah, you can also go to a certain event and just check what it is about. Pretty self-explanatory. You can also book a ticket to there if you want to attend, or RSVP through the platform. Yeah, and if you are a host, it's pretty easy to host your community or events. You can host a new space, for example, and it will ask you for what type of community you are. Like if you are an intentional community and have a physical space somewhere in the world, you'll probably choose this one. Or if you're organizing a burn festival, for example, you might choose this one, and so on. So yeah, let's maybe just create one very fast. Actually, you know what? I'll just create one virtual group because we don't have Microsolidarity here.
I was just thinking to point that out. Seems like the perfect fit.
Yeah, let me maybe copy paste some text from Microsolidarity website. And I tried to make it pretty simple of how you add events and communities, like minimal information, but you can expand on it later on. You can pick a location, but in this case, it doesn't make any sense, so we'll keep it global. And let's see, yeah, you can also, some communities ask for to be more private, which is actually kind of nice. Like some people don't like the exposure for their community to be on the website. So I made this option to be either public or private. And let's push this up. Yeah, here we can add more photos, but I think that's enough for now. And then you can go on the page. Do you see this tab that opened? Because I don't know what I'm sharing. I think my whole screen, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
looks
kind of
good.
funny picture, because that's my shoe here in the center. So I feel like I'm in this circle right now, almost. And yeah, if we want, we can make events on that page as well. And automatically you create this inside the Microsolidarity space, and you can also make the event public or private, give it a name, select date. You can also make paid events through the website as well, which is done through Stripe integration. So you can get paid immediately if you want for your events. And that's pretty much it. I think we landed on a UX that works for now. Like I'm still not 100% happy. I'll probably change it again at some point, but it's still something that can be used right now. And people are already using it quite a lot. I see a lot of traffic recently. So the servers are still holding up. And yeah, so you can ask questions. I think it will be better rather than me just speaking here. Um, but yeah, you can go on the website and just check it out for now.
Yeah, feel free to post questions in the chat, or I'll pass the mic because I have a quick question to start with, I think. I know that there's community directory websites, Foundation for Intentional Community, et cetera, et cetera. I'm wondering, what would you say is kind of the filtering heuristic for what gets posted here? Because I find it interesting how many of these spaces I recognize kind of through my microsolidarity orbit. Like a lot of these spaces and the event brands are quite particular somehow to this cultural context,
Mhm.
but I don't know quite how to place that. How do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I kind of feel like we're indeed in some kind of bubble right now. And even some of us jump from communities to communities. And I do think that more people should know about this. Like when I talk to some friends, they have no idea about communities in the world. Like, I don't know, like we're pretty lucky about that. Uh, but a lot of my friends just don't have an idea that this exists as an option, really. So, on one hand, the hosts are trying to get more participants on the events, and on the other, it's like, well, we do live in this small community bubble that we are. So yeah, my idea is to make it more accessible at least. And I know about yeah, I've checked a few other directories. I'm not particularly fan of those because of the UX. What I'm trying to do here is a little bit more modern, more accessible, more easy to use, and like you can pretty much list your community in 1 minute, and that's it. Like most of the other directories ask you to fill thousands of questions before you do that. So yeah.
Can you say again because of the what you said? The US, the user. Is it?
The
I
Can you
couldn't
repeat?
get that word and I felt like I missed the whole context. I guess it's because of the user experience.
The UX. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's kind of domain specific. User experience. Yes.
I figured it out. Look at me.
Yeah,
2 minutes later, but yes.
I am kind of obsessed about design, but yeah, that's why.
I have a question since I was already talking. Sorry, Annie. Um, when you went there and say, well, if you're a host, so if I go there now how do I become a host? Do I need to ask for permission or
No,
no?
everyone.
I
You just
just,
yeah. So on the top right, you have this option, switch to hosting. So you have like two modes on the website, traveling and hosting, and you can just swap between those.
and then can
Uh,
you edit, like I can go and edit Microsolidarity?
Yeah, well, no, because now I am the admin of this.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
I can Well, that's something I'm gonna add next week, which is like have multiple admins on one space. But right now I can just transfer it to you if you log into the page automatically. And then you can just edit it yourself and manage it and so on. Yeah.
And do you plan to add some kind of verification process so that not anyone could come and like?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. Not for now, maybe, because I still feel like it's not needed, like it doesn't exist as a problem. At some point that might happen, but let's see. Yeah, for now it's like just open for everyone.
But like these organizations and communities that are currently listed, I saw you have like 34, right? So they all have created their own profiles here, or
Yeah, they. I mean, yeah. For example, Sarah here is the admin of Alchemist, and I am the. This is our small community, and that's just our house, but there are like 3 more houses there. And yeah, basically everyone can become a host and list their own community in that space.
wonderful. I think I'm gonna do it after the call. Or
Awesome. By the way, yeah, it will be pretty nice if you also go here in the menu and there is help and feedback. And if you click it, you jump in a Telegram group where you can just suggest different features. You can ask for help on the on yeah, or anything that you find, like any bugs or fixes that you want.
I have more of a sort of like comment or pondering that comes up for me. And this, I love that it's like, I love that you're like thinking of it from the perspective of people who don't have access to community. And because I think for me also, like what Sarah said, I'm like, oh yeah, I know many of these, maybe even other directories, and there might be other ones, but this feels like really like visually much more appealing and user friendly. And I'm also curious about the potential, like as we make these various communities more obvious, that we can sort of understand where each one has specific strengths. And I wonder if there's a way in which these kind of platforms also can reveal to each sort of congregation or group that's creating a space like this, virtual or in real life, geographically located, there can be like some form of like mutual support on that level, like congregation to congregation, and this feeling of like a global network of support or inspiration popping up. Because I think it's really like quite a challenge to host and run these places like Alchemist and Casatilo. They're the ones who I have like the most learnt. I know have most stories of. But yeah, how could like activate more mutual support between these like host leaders creating these spaces?
Yeah, so maybe it's not so obvious what I'm trying to do, so maybe I'll just verbalize it. So I spoke to a lot of community hosts, and basically one of the main issues they're all facing is like, okay, how do we get people to come here? And they usually try to market their place themselves, like yeah, just outreach in my network. Now what people usually do is like maybe they have a website or they post their events on Luma, but actually if you add your community on Call-Even, what happens is that for example, I will invite a bunch of guests at my community through the platform, and then they'll see other communities there. So it's like a marketing effort for everyone in the same like global network, you can say. And all the traffic that comes to one place is kind of distributed to other places as well. So that's my main goal right now, to kind of help hosts in that regard. And yeah, it's like a mutually reinforcing kind of loop, I would say, if it makes sense.
And how do you plan to, because you said that the people who don't know about places like those communities are actually like a segment that you would target. So do you have any idea how would you how would you reach those people? Like what would be a marketing strategy for that?
Yeah. Well, I have few ideas. I don't know. It's, well, on one hand, it's like if any of us promotes their community here, I feel like it will gather traction at some point, and this loop will happen. But I also have some ideas of how to actually promote um, the platform itself. But yeah, we'll see how that happens.
Yeah, I guess you will attract the like some kind of early adopters audience through this method of word of mouth from the existing communities. Yeah, it would be interesting to see how it will develop, and also the like the business model, what would be, and
Yeah,
but
I mean,
great.
so far these are open questions. Like I've ton of ideas about features that will help hosts. Like the events for now is just the start. Like I feel there is like much more we can do. But I also want to hear your feedback. And yeah, if you join the Telegram group, you can chime in with ideas for sure. And I'm interested to see like what's the most requested thing, because I have a lot of stuff in my head, but I want to see hear from others as well.
And I'm seeing a few things from Andres in the chat. Do you want to speak to anything, or maybe this link you've shared?
I was just wondering. Thanks for the presentation, by the way, Marin. It's really interesting and nice, and it looks like a good tool. Always the start is the hardest, probably, and then if you have something like this, then the first step is already done towards creating an own group or community. I was just wondering if you are aware of other similar initiatives, and what tells yours apart from them.
Yeah, I'm actually aware of a bunch of them. Like the one that Zoe also mentioned. I spoke to Rufus Pollock the other day as well. So most of the projects are a little bit like more like databases, I would say, like more of just a list of communities. But my main goal is to, like I said, empower the hosts of those communities, because hosting is a kind of really hard job, actually. Like if you have hosted events and communities, you know that. And I feel like it's a little bit unthankful in a way work, and invisible kind of work. So I feel at least helping the hosts in the organizational part of it, like booking tickets, managing the rooms, like who comes when, who leaves when. It's like all this logistical stuff that happens, sometimes invisibly. Like that's something I'm trying to do here.
Is that something that is integrated in the platform itself?
Well, right now just the ticketing part, and like if you create an event, you can also connect your Stripe account and receive payments through the platform itself. You can get RSVPs, you can see the guests and so on, but right now it's like just the beginning of these features, so we'll do more of those.
It seems to me that the combination between retreat centers or communities and events, it's gonna empower each other. Like it's a nice dialogue of, because if I am looking for a community, maybe I go once or once in a while to the site, but if I'm looking to an event for events, then there's probably more traffic because it's a recurrent thing. Oh, let's see what's up in the space, and then I navigate through the communities, or I might see. So I'm trying to think what other ways, like if I'm coming as a user for an event, looking for an event, then what's new in the communities page that it might catch my attention again, even if I have already visited that, so that I can see what they're up to. You know what I mean? Like a
Yeah, exactly.
news something from, or a spot.
I'd love to be able to pop my email in here and get like a digest delivered to me. And that's kind of what's interesting, I think, about the technology that Marin's building here is being able to curate everything that's now in there. And I could imagine getting an email of these 5 events were posted to co-live in, and that being a good way, I think, to what you're saying is like, yeah, how do we know what's new there? That sounds possible to solve, Marin. I don't know if you've thought about it.
Yeah. Actually, when we were at Casatilo, we were discussing something that I actually quite like as a feature, like creating this. You can think of them like playlists on Spotify. Like, oh, I curate this list of 10 communities I often visit, for example. And people who follow you can also check them out. Like you can create lists of all the communities on the platform itself. But yeah, this goes into like, should we build more social features or should we build more management features? And that's a question I'm still exploring. We'll see.
Yeah, I wanted to say that. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go. I already said something.
Yeah, so like yeah, because when I added like Cozy Club there, it was more like kind of like at the beginning, you know, like you were like, okay, can you test this feature and so on? And I didn't think about letting it there, and I just kind of forgot about it. And then now somebody from the community actually found it, because the people from the event, they kind of like found that page, because we don't have anything online. Like we have like a secret Telegram group, and that often happens with communities like this, that you're kind of like bootstrapping them, and then you don't want to be like super public, and you don't invest in a website, and you have like some PDFs floating around here and there. And so that's really nice that you have like all this like this flexibility, and it's really like very functional, great UX, and also like easy to like set something up really quick and have this like instant kind of network effect. Because like that was just surprising me, that surprised me a lot, that people were like very positive about, because I didn't ask anyone, I just put it there and then I forgot about it, and then people were like, hey, what's this? And I was like, oops, now I'm in trouble, you know. Like, but we were like, no, this is great actually, like, oh, can we put an event there? And so it's like, okay, yeah, so maybe we'll just share the password, and like anyone from because we have a very tight collective, like who's part of the membership and who isn't, so we can just like have a shared password, and then anyone can upload events there. I think it's very great, like a value that you give to us. Thank you so much.
Nice. I will probably add like the ability to have like multiple managers of a space, or hosts, basically. Yeah.
That was really cool to hear the impact of that on Cozy Club. Yeah, and also places that don't have maybe such a a website or some presence. Like, okay, at least you're located here for people to find. It also made me think about for people who don't know much about these communities or kind of want to get more of like a perspective of what it's like to be there. I also thought about been really nice to have like a little guest book space for each one, so that if people have visited, they could like leave not necessarily like a review, but call it a guest book because it's something a bit more relational. Maybe something that the hosts can like accept or reject, or like saying you don't get spam or people posting things that are irrelevant. But yeah, something like that would be cool to see.
Yeah, that's really nice because I see a lot of Twitter posts about different communities, and they're like, I mean, they're on Twitter and kind of disconnected from the actual community. But yeah, it will be nice to have them there as well. Yeah, good idea. And I like the name guest book. Honestly, in this project, the hardest part has been just coming up with the exact names for stuff. Like, for example, when I at first we had this third tab on the main page called series or camps, and then some people who are not on Twitter, they're like, "So what is a camp? Is it like a tent camp? Like what is it?" So it's very hard to describe this like inside lingo. And yeah, it's been tough to get the exact name of stuff for some reason. Linguistics is hard.
Yeah, that sounds really fair. I have a question that's maybe somewhat related to it. Well, I'm curious to kind of dive in with some more detail to the neighborhood idea. Um, I'm curious how that came about for you. From what I saw in the demo, it looks like maybe there's one that's listed, Orcheta in
Yeah,
southern
well,
Spain. And I'm really curious. I'm looking at it and I'm like, there's not so much information here that's really distinguishing why Orcheta is listed as a neighborhood. And do you know anything about it? Are you
yeah,
connected to someone who's there?
yeah. So it's funny because people there that they don't want to get too known. So it's a very small village in the south of Spain, and we visit it every year with my family. And it's like one of those Mediterranean cute villages, which are both on the beach but also on the mountains. Uh, and they have really strong community. How to call it? It's like culture. Like all the doors are open all the time. Like nobody locks their doors. There are no cars on the street. Kids run from one house to another. You can get someone's bike and just use it and then return it. It's like this place where it is actual community. And yeah, my friend who lives there, he is also helping me a little bit on the platform. Uh, his name is Javi. And yeah, well, to be honest, there are other like that. Like, for example, Porto is like, in a sense, a neighborhood, or Fractal in New York, Brooklyn. Like, there is no one physical space that you can think of as this community, but it's like a bunch of people deciding to live together or organize in some way. So yeah, it's just a different type, I would say, of what we imagine as an intentional community rather than, yeah. Does it make sense?
I love that. It really kind of subverts, I think,
Yeah.
what a lot of other directory sites are doing actually in an interesting way. Um, yeah, you just described it as like real community of
Mm.
there's a commodification, I think, to a lot of these places kind of by necessity of paying a mortgage or making something happen. The possibility space Jocelyn is saying. Yeah, exactly. I think that's what I'm trying to point at. Yeah, that kind of really widened my idea of what you're trying to do with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so curious about it. I'm really glad that you were listing that there, and it creates the category, because it's like I can feel already so many things coming up in me that I don't even know which one to share. It's like, especially in terms of going back, like, to what it used to be for our grandparents or something, but with intention, which would be more like what I see as a future evolving into. But also there is something about it's nobody's place, but it's
Exactly.
everybody's place. So it's
Yeah.
not somebody's idea, so we're following someone. It's coming into existence together. So it's like, that's a few I was able to wrap and share.
Yeah, I mean that's another like in terms of like design, how do you who is the host of this place, like of this village? Like is it the mayor? I mean it's not, probably. It's everyone. Uh but yeah, how to make it possible so everyone can add events there, for example.
I love this vision of like actually mayors being like, hang on, I have a great little village. We need a few more people. Let's put our village on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hosted by the municipality of Berlin or something.
The mayor of Berlin. Isn't it Simon? I thought it's him.
Oh yeah, Simon. Simon Ola.
Yeah.
I have one more question. I'm very talkative today. Sorry, or not sorry. Have you thought of the meta level of other platforms like this featuring each other? So, like, is that clear? So, like,
Yeah, can you clarify it a little more?
I don't know. Yeah, I was thinking that, I don't know. Yeah, other platforms in the community I can think of that are not exactly the same, but like Dandelion or
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that. And so how do they feed each other? How do we create the communities of the communities of the community? Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's always a tough question from like software engineering perspective. I I talked a lot with Stephen Reed about it and how we can combine it, or should we? And I don't know. For now, we decided to just, yeah, with two platforms is okay. Like people can have both at the same time. Um, but yeah, also you can, for example, if you host your event on Dandelion, you can just paste the link on call event. It doesn't matter like where you do it, the ticketing, for example. But yeah, for now, I'm like, my main design perspective is make it super easy for hosts. Like I think we redesigned the onboarding flow like 7 times already, and I still feel it's like too complicated. I think it should be even easier than that. Um, so it's like different platforms want different things. For me, this is priority number one, like making it easier and useful. Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe it will happen, maybe not.
At risk of taking it too far out, I am feeling curious now just about technology generally evolving in the Microsolidarity network, because I think the card deck that was published earlier this year is a great example of social technology that was very co-created by folks in the network and brought to reality. And Marin, this okay, there you go. Yeah,
Like
can you
one.
give us a little wave of them or something? Like technology is not just online. It's very sometimes, tools in our hands is technology. And so I think I'm curious now, just does this point to something about the network reaching some stage of maturity or evolution? I mean, you're here now, you've been hanging out in the microsolidarity orbit at least for 2 years, I imagine. I think your history goes back further than that. Yeah, is there anything you would say about like why now, or what kind of happened to as an impetus, or how do you see this now emerging technology that's coming up in the network?
Is the question towards me or to everyone?
I'd love to hear your perspective and open that up to anyone who feels inspired by it as well.
Yeah, my perspective, at least with what I'm building. So I've been thinking about this for 2 years. It's not like, oh, I suddenly decided to do that. But I've started other startups before, and I've always been too early, which is like my curse. Like, oh, it's like I was in VR, but it was too early, and I was into um, like I was building a platform for remote working in 2018 before the pandemic, and it's like always this curse of like, okay, am I seeing this trend like too early? And right now with community living, I feel it's like that. Like a lot of people will probably pick it up at some point, but yeah, I feel like now is the right moment in a way. Um, and we'll see. Like I'm thinking about it long term here. I don't feel like this is something I'm doing just on the weekend. It's more of a, yeah, just long-term project that will evolve more and more, if it makes sense. Maybe others can share too, like what they think about technology as a whole as well.
I was thinking, maybe, I don't know if it's specifically technology, but definitely in terms of the evolution of the network, like a few years in, like seeing how the card deck was like a consolidation of something that's been explored. And then this, like what you've done, Marin, here seems to be also like a timely, like bringing together and consolidating, like revealing what's actually been bubbling these last few years. I think a lot of those projects are set up by people who like, well, like not since so long. Maybe, I mean, the ones like Tamara obviously a lot longer, but Casatilo is just less than a year old, and Fool's Valley I think is quite new as well, and things like this. So they're all not all from people who have been actively involved in Microsolidarity, the network itself, but kind of in adjacent fields. So I think there's something about like using technology or creating social technologies that are making the principles, practices, and application of microsolidarity easier for people to access who don't come across community building in everyday life, or maybe struggle with these things. So that's for sure, I think, something I'm seeing. Yeah. Yeah.
And I would also add to that I really feel like any kind of intention to unify all these, like I feel there's like a rising number of different islands and communities, and it's true that there's like maybe at this time like different initiatives that are unifying, and all, yes, as Gui wondered, well, like what's gonna unify all these different unifiers, but at least there's an effort. And I find it that like there's a Dendeli and there's a couple of other directories, but people will find what they resonate with in regarding to the field where they are in. So it's what I'm trying to say, that it's like it's much needed now at this time to have this unifying kind of forces, and it's not like they are competing between themselves. It's like just they're complementing. So yeah, very curious about the development.
Just another idea which came up while you were talking about where could it progress in the future and grow. It just brought into mind a kind of a Facebook of communities. If you envisage in the future you're hosting on this website like hundreds and thousands of communities, um, uh, it it just led to the next thought of how to kind of safeguard this space. I mean, Colivan from being commodified by whoever owns that actual platform at the time, who might not be you, and making it part of the commons. That's one way to avoid the pitfalls of private ownership. I don't know. I'm just improvising, so I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, maybe I can answer. So I'm kind of lucky that I am doing this with my own funds and time, basically. And I don't have to answer to investors or anything. So I intend to make it this way, like basically be absolutely independent. I was even thinking at some point to make it. Are you familiar with what a platform cooperative is? It's like, in a sense, co-ownership of all the users on the platform. It's a little tricky to do it legally, but maybe. So yeah, that's one possibility.
That sounds lovely.
Mhm.
There are examples of doing that, which I know of, not like a platform as such. So when the asset is a platform, but it's I'm pretty sure it's possible for a platform as well. It's possible for assets which are intuitively less prone to being commonly owned. So I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it really depends, like where is the legal entity formed and how. So, some countries have a easier way to do that, others harder. Like if you really want to make it cooperative on paper, it's a little more challenging, but you can also design it in a way that doesn't. It's like more of a voting rights rather than and plus ownership rather than truly being part of this legal entity sometime somewhere in the world. So yeah, it's like lawyers talk a little bit, but yeah. Anyway.
It sounds like at the time being you have a very high trust team between yourself and your 11-year-old son. So legal entities maybe not required. But I am curious, you shared the Telegram channel that, if I heard correctly, is mostly about giving feedback or requesting what might be helpful to see in development of the platform. Are you looking also for contributors, or are there other ways? Are you open to kind of growing that team, or how does that feel for you?
I actually have a bunch of people helping me, two other designers and Simon, who is helping with marketing ideas a little bit. Yeah, I need more people. So if you want to join, just let me know and we'll talk about it. I kind of want to make it more how would I say it, like more lean. Right now, speed is like super important. So for a few months, I was doing this solo. And it was really good, actually. Like, yeah, the things you can do without having to go into meetings. It's like really productive. But then at this point, it's like, I have a lot of questions. Like, should we go this way or this way? Like, both can work, but it depends on the strategy. Like, yeah, it's like just needing to bounce off some more strategic decisions there.
Well, I love what this can do to put more and more community spaces on the map, so to speak. One thing I was curious to see if there's energy for on this call as we kind of step into the last 15 minutes or so here is something about building communities across different contexts online. I have a very rural community space that I'm involved in versus something like, we've got we had like 4 people from Berlin here today. And so that's a totally different urban context. And so to be able to put Alchemist on this platform and have it gain visibility. Zoe mentioned earlier their space, someone found it, because they're not really online. So maybe Google is picking up the co-live-in page. And so that it's really easy to post information, at least just make it visible. As a rural community, it can be challenging to have people discover us, to get out here. There's lots of challenges in these things. So I'm just curious if anyone else is maybe having challenges or would like to speak to kind of your community context and what is alive for you right now in building community and whether it's online or rural or urban. Is there something you see in the contrasts there? I will admit I'm having a special curiosity around Swedish Lapland because we have folks who call in from there, and I am always amazed to hear the community building that's happening there. So maybe I'll selfishly ask to hear a bit more about that because that's a kind of intense context.
Yeah, so I don't know, it's kind of still like a vague concept that we're building here. We're inviting people who want to join just to live in remote place in pretty like cold but very beautiful nature, like and that would love to participate. Kind of it's more that we do, it's like co-creation that anyone can come and basically contribute what they would love to do here. And now we have a couple, like we are quite small, we are just like this winter we're gonna be 4 people here, and then we're trying to make also some something like experiences going out in the wild with dogs, and then the way we contribute is like everyone can choose the things that feel comfortable. Like some of us do more, like cooking or tour guiding or like working with dogs or marketing, making some online websites and stuff. And yeah, and just I don't know, I don't have this kind of just very feel very very it's kind of experimental thing that we are trying to make out. And yeah, I don't know, let's see, let's so everybody's welcome who wants to join us, who's not afraid of cold and snow.
one thing I love that you just reminded me of is if I go to Casatilo, if I go to Swedish Lapland, if I have invited you here to join me at Alchemist, one thing that's sure to happen is we'll probably have a great dinner together. And this joining around food is definitely something that seems to transcend context. That's always going to be there. So maybe that's part of what I'm feeling curious about is like, what would we get at any of these communities, kind of regardless of physical context or circumstance? I think there's a through line that exists to what we expect to feel in a microsolidarity space that feels really rich.
I have a curiosity for you, a question for you, Yeva. With only 4 people there in this winter, or seems like quite a small group generally, are there things that you do together that like keep you going through the cold winter, or that build a sense of us and like group for you guys?
Mm. The core past, like we are just 2 of us, and then we invite people, and this winter will be another 2 people coming, and then this uh, this is the core that we kind of keep this camp alive, and then we invite also like guests, or we want to make mm, something like events, as we call them, expeditions. That we also could maybe present. Maybe we can also make this for that I thought so. We can make a presentation for next sessions that somehow more structured way to tell our like where we stand, and tell more about us.
That would be so cool.
Mm.
Yeah, I think there are like at least 3 more slots or something for project presentations over the next 3 calls. So
Yeah, I saw that today. So
cool.
maybe we will make some presentation for. Yeah.
Awesome.
I have a question actually, because our community here is a little bit remote as well, but it's still like 30 minutes from the capital. And sometimes logistics are a little, it's not like easy to get people here. So I'm like wondering how it is for other communities. Like maybe Sarah, I'm most interested in like how people get to Alchemist. Like, do they go to Portland? Like how it happens, like logistically?
I can tell you the closest train station to where we are is a 40-minute drive by car. So there's just no escaping kind of that last mile problem. And it's quite troublesome for travelers. America is such a car dependent country, and we're pretty far out. I always love dreaming about something that would be kind of like the community pilgrimage and linking together places in a region to make it a juicier experience of getting to one place to another place. It could be a fun journey, and make it more worthwhile for someone to travel to a place. So the more that we remain in connection with each other and knowing who else is in the field and giving back to people so that more spaces like these can be popping up, feels really important. Yeah, I don't have a sense that we have a lot of peers exactly. We're networking with our neighbors and people around us. But there's not so many groups near us that have this kind of same flavor that we are aspiring towards or looking to partnership in deeper ways.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll switch into kind of wrap up mode for today. I do want to highlight what Jocelyn shared in the chat here is a link to saying that you would also love to present a project like Marin did today, because we have network calls coming up that will have a similar format throughout January and February. And it sounds like there's still spots open for you to do that. So also share that with maybe your colleagues, peers, friends, if you know of an interesting project that you would want to see given attention to. Definitely do that. And the next call, of course, these are always on the first Thursday of the month, and there's a new time as of just 1 or 2 months ago. So it's looking like 9:30 LA time. What time is that in CET for folks?
6:30.
6:30
PM.
CET.
Yeah.
PM, that's right. Not too crazy. And so in January, that will be, is it really the first? New Year's Day?
Good point. We shifted it 1 week because I was like, who's going to arrive on January 1st? I'm not.
Right.
So yeah, we shifted that as a very rare exception to the next week, so January 8th.
Perfect. Glad we caught that. So yeah, absolutely filling me up today to see you all and have this point of connection. So I hope it's done something for you as well. We'll maybe kind of formally close it out there, but if you want to hang around, there's 6 minutes left on the clock. I'm happy to hang out for anyone who wants to chat. And thank you for joining. Thank you, Marin. Any final point from Marin? Did you have fun today? Was this good for you?
You are asking me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation. It was like, yeah, it was lovely. Thanks.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for sharing.